It is now Fortnitemares, and to celebrate, Epic added tons of secrets and Easter eggs, like one that references a meme from over 5 years ago. This is the Boo Box dance, or as many of you know it, the coffin dance. From Boo Box to Boxy Boo, and Poppy Playtime is officially joining Fortnitemares on October 23rd, and in the set, there's a custom loading screen that reveals way more than just Fortnite skins. Yes, you can spot some classic characters like the Prototype, Doughy, and Catnap, but fans have also spotted Easter eggs in here, like the Lemon, which is hidden throughout the original games, and some unreleased characters that we have never seen before. Like we have this zipper mouth plush doll, and a star walkie-talkie, both of which could be fans' first look, all because of Fortnite. A Halloween Easter egg that basically everyone can get excited about is Jason Voorhees' medallion. So with this item, you're gonna feel like Jason, but the best part is the sound effect that plays referencing the iconic. Surprisingly, the headliner for Fortnitemares 2025 wasn't a Halloween movie, but actually K-pop Demon Hunters. And yet it still feels great, especially with their Demon Rush mode that has an insane Easter egg. You see, in normal games, you'll spot a statue of Derpy from the film, except once you reach Hunter rank 5 and interact with it, this'll happen. Just like the film, Derpy keeps knocking over plant pots and staring at them. Nothing gets you into the October mood like a pumpkin spice latte though, and Fortnite knows this because they have a secret unreleased emote that references Starbucks' Halloween drink. And fun fact, if you look closely, you can even spot a scarecrow wearing a Starbucks-themed barista uniform. That's not the only secret hiding in an emote. Mr. Savage might be the last place you look for a Halloween Easter egg, but if you look at his skill tracker, pay close attention. Yeah, the device he's using is actually a reference to the PKE meter from Ghostbusters.
Are you the gatekeeper?
You better bring him inside.
Fortnite's always gone out on collabs for Halloween, especially in 2024 when they added Edward Scissorhands, who wasn't just a fun outfit, he could also be spotted at Grand Glacier. If you caught him at just the right time, you would see him decorating the bushes and making good use out of those scissors. And that's not all, because this entire POI was actually a horror Easter egg of its own, with the entire building being a reference to the Overlook Hotel from The Shining. You can even go into the snowy maze and find a statue and an axe, which is a nod to how Jack Torrance dies at the end of the movie. But that's not the only crazy location to appear in Fortnite. With Jason showing up for Halloween this year, the brand new reload map actually changes Camp Cuddle to Camp Crystal Lake. Yeah, we have one of the most popular locations in horror film history in Fortnite. As for the regular island, even this got secret changes. If you head to this part of the map, you'll find a crash plane that actually belongs to Huntrix. This private jet is taken straight from the movie, and if you visit the crash site, you'll see a lot of food, which makes a lot of sense considering all they do on flights is eat. Back in 2024, you can look at restored reels around Halloween time and find that the movie posters were changed to fake horror films. There was this poster for Gord, which is a parody of the famous poster for John Carpenter's The Thing. Fortnite was especially accurate when they brought Kato Thorne to the game as the Fortnitemares villain, because this guy was a hotel owner by day, vampire by night, and when you fought him as a boss, there was an insane secret that only true horror fans would know about. If you used the wooden stake shotgun while fighting him, it would serve as a real weakness that did twice the amount of damage, and that's because it's the one thing that vampires hate. It's a stake to the heart. Things get a little creepy when you look at Leatherface's set. While his Fortnite skin doesn't look nearly as unsettling as he does in the movie, they did include an emote that has a chilling origin. This is taken from the final scene in the Texas Chainsaw Massacre where Leatherface does this exact dance, and I mean, come on, it's terrifying. If you've been playing Fortnite since the start, you might remember 2018's Fortnitemares wasn't exactly known for its collabs. But if you paid very close attention to the lobby, you could spot a silhouette in the window just staring at you. This was a secret nod to Michael Myers, and 6 years later, he finally came to the game. Speaking of Michael, when he did drop, Fortnite made yet another amazing reference with his pickaxe. Because when you hit something with a slasher knife, you would hear this. This sound effect is actually taken from the classic horror movie Psycho. You may have logged into Fortnitemares this year and been surprised to see a different storm. Well, there's a secret reason for this, and it's because for the first time ever, Epic has changed the storm for a collab. This is actually inspired by the Han Moon from K-pop Demon Hunters, which is the barrier they use in the movie to hold back demons. In fact, take a look in the distance and you'll see a huge glowing fire pit off the island, and this is actually one of the characters from the film. It is Guimar the Demon King who tries to break the Han Moon, and it looks like he's just watching us from a distance. Not every Halloween collab goes goes this smoothly. All the way back in 2019, Epic introduced a new Halloween emote called Pump It Up. It was meant to be a reference to a viral video from 2006 called the Dancing Pumpkin Man, which eventually came to be known as the Spooky Scary Skeletons Dance. A lot of people loved it, but there was one person who didn't. Before the emote released, Epic struck a deal with the original pumpkin guy to bring it to Fortnite, but then he sent them a cease and desist anyway. Epic had to take him to court over it and brought it back only a few times, but despite that, we haven't seen this return in almost 4 years. Speaking of pumpkin guys, one of my favorite Halloween skins has to be Jack Gordon, because his entire existence is an Easter egg in disguise. You see, he's a reference to Tom Hanks' character David S. Pumpkins and one of the most iconic SNL skits of all time.
What's my name?
David S. Pumpkins!
So by now we've learned Fortnite clearly loved pumpkins, and that's why at one point in 2020 you could find the lonely henchmen walking around with jack-o'-lanterns on their heads. One of them was based on Jack Gordon, and the other was taken from Hollowhead. While some skins you could just laugh off, others are straight up unsettling, like Mincemeat, one of the creepiest Halloween outfits we've ever seen. Fortnite knew this guy was so gross, and that's why they decided to make him a secret boss in the map too, because if you went near him, he would attack you in the craziest way. Yeah, he would chase you with a knife and fork, because for once, he's the one eating you. And did you know that the Fortnite Island has been haunted for 6 years and nobody knows about it? This is one of the most hidden secrets in Fortnitemares history, and you could only find it if you went to this specific tombstone in 2019. It was around this time that players were hearing a strange screaming sound, but you couldn't really tell where it was from until they went into replay mode and saw a ghost. This only happened on November 15, 2019, and then never talked about again. We have no idea who this ghost was, what this meant, and only 1% of players even know it existed. Nowadays, we have creepy locations that are less mysterious, like the cabin from Evil Dead. When this was added, people were shocked at how accurate it was, but also with how many Easter eggs it had. First, you could find Ash's chainsaw on a workbench in the shed, obviously one of the most important parts of the franchise, but then you could also spot the creepy moose head that laughs at Ash. And in the set, one of his emotes referenced the cabin cellar, which is home to one of the creepiest moments in Evil Dead. That reminds me of Billy the Puppet set and how his emote would let you ride around on a tricycle that he's never seen without. He wasn't exactly using the bicycle on the map though. If you walked into this house in 2024, the TV would turn on and something terrifying would happen. Not only that, but Billy would attack you with an exclusive jigsaw axe that never released. It was just designed for the NPC. And did you know you could own a piece of Halloween history with the reanimated emote? It's one of the most classic Fortnitemares dances in the game, and this whole time, it was a secret reference to Michael Jackson's Thriller music video. Something else people forget about is how Fortnitemare's exclusive battle bus is hiding a secret in plain sight. Because when it's flying in the sky, the side of the bus has this ripped tarp over it, but if you look at it on Spawn Island, it reveals that the iconic stop sign is secretly changed to a spider web. It feels obvious, but it's actually super hidden. Right now though, you should look at the Demon Hunters Fortnitemares quest, where you'll see that one of them asks you to go and relax in a hot tub. This is a nod to one of the plot lines where Rumi refuses to go to the bathhouse because she's hiding her demon side. And if you read the description of this quest, it's a double reference, pointing out the scene where they finally do go to the spa and then have to fight these water demons. And that's not the only Halloween bathtub Easter egg. What a weird thing to say. Jack Skellington's emote lets you ride around in a walking tub, but this actually belongs to Lock, Shock, and Barrels, and they are the 3 characters from the film who end up kidnapping Santa Claus. Not only that, but you also probably recognize the music. Yep, it's This Is Halloween, which is the most famous song from the movie. As for Sally, her back bling and pickaxe are even more hidden. If you don't recognize the frog or spoon, that's because they are both taken from just a couple seconds in the movie.
Frog's breath will overpower any odor.
Now, I don't need to tell you how Frankenstein's monster and the mummy are classic Halloween characters. Although, if you're unaware of just how far back their stories go, they have edit styles called vintage, where it turns in black and white and adds an old-timey projector filter. Not only that, but they created an entire CGI short film that explained exactly how Universal's monsters got to the island. At first, people thought this was just an original movie, but at the very end, it was revealed to be a Fortnite collab. But they aren't the only characters with a secret Halloween storyline. In 2022, you could find this graveyard at Grim Gables, and it was full of tombstones you could actually read. There was jokes like, in case of zombie outbreak, this grave will be unoccupied, and this is not a secret apocalypse bunker, but my personal favorite is, here lies Meowscles, life 3 of 9. He's not the only one who got roasted by Fortnite. A few years ago, some players got their car stuck in the most embarrassing way. Well, Fortnite saw this and immortalized the fail with an Easter egg on the map, which is already pretty funny, but then when Halloween came around, they decided to update it with a pumpkin guy hanging out of the window. By far, one of the greatest collabs of all time is gonna hit the shop, and that's when Scooby-Doo comes to Fortnite this Halloween. Turns out, Epic has been teasing this since the latest Winterfest. Because in December 2024, you could talk to Sergeant Winter during a quest line, and he would say, "I would have gotten away with it too if you had just been a little less meticulous." Does that sound familiar?
Might have gotten away with it too. It wasn't for these blasted kids and their dogs.
And yeah, 10 months later, it is finally coming to the game and bringing the Mystery Machine 2. But one vehicle that you aren't allowed to drive was simply meant to be an Easter egg. When the Ghostbusters skins arrived in 2020, people were pretty disappointed that they were just default skins with costumes on. No surprise there, but then they went to this random barn on the map and found the Ecto-1 hiding under a sheet. The reference to a scene from Ghostbusters Afterlife where they discovered the car after years of collecting dust. So hopefully, it becomes a drivable car in the item shop someday. It's that time of the year again for another season of Stranger Things, and this was one of the OG Halloween collabs in Fortnite, with them even hiding Scoops Ahoy and Mega Mall during Chapter 1. This didn't come back for years until Fortnitemares in 2022 added this strange grandfather clock that fans noticed was upside down. It was a reference to Vecna, and of course the upside down, hyping up fans in preparation for Wave 2 of Stranger Things dropping a year later. And I just don't think that Fortnite's original skins get the love they deserve though, because they sometimes turn iconic urban legends into the coolest looking outfits. Like Hollowhead is a classic skin inspired by the tale of the Headless Horseman, and then we have Baba Yaga, and I know some of you will think of John Wick when I say that, but it's actually based on a Slavic urban legend about an old woman in the woods who eats children. It's kind of terrifying. But my favorite original Halloween skin is the Good Doctor. Of course, he's inspired by the story of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. They've been doing stuff like this ever since Save the World, where you could play as characters like Kyle the 13th, it was obviously a parody of Jason, and then there was Beetlejuice, which probably doesn't need explaining. And yeah, Jason might be in Fortnitemares this year, but he has technically been in Fortnite longer than any other character in Halloween history. And that's because Save the World once had this Jason Voorhees shrine as a secret Easter egg. Personally, I love the secrets that most people forget about, like all the way back in Season 6 when Fatal Fields was completely transformed into a Halloween farm attraction. It's just like the real life horror nights you could go to. This had haunted houses, mazes, and even more. This is where the story gets better though, because finally, for the first time in 7 years, you could go back to this right now in Fortnite OG. But I cannot make this video without talking about the most famous Halloween Easter egg in Fortnite. Fans still think about the time that red balloons appeared over storm drains, and when you pop them, you would hear this. If you guessed Pennywise the Clown, you will be correct. But those were 50 Halloween Easter eggs in Fortnite. Hope you guys enjoyed this year's Fortnitemares and keep it here on Top 5 Gaming. Also, it's been Tommy. I think I forgot to say that.